This week in lab, we'll be doing the keratometry mini proficiency. Please review the key resources as needed to make sure that you are comfortable doing the procedure. When you come in and get set up, you will be asked to do keratometry on one eye of your patient, and we will let you know which eye once you are all set up. You will have 4 minutes to complete the proficiency, and then you can record in Epic and verbalize your findings outside of that 4-minute time limit. Please then put your patient's name in the note section of your recording and go ahead and record your findings, close it up, take a screenshot, change the name of the screenshot to be your name, and then submit the screenshot to Moodle. And when you come into the proficiency, you will see the spot on the Moodle course page where we want you to submit your screenshot. You don't need to make it into a PDF like we do for our assignments. It's just going to be a straightforward screenshot that you submit directly into the Moodle course page for us to look at. When you do record your findings for keratometry, you need to record the diopters to the nearest eighth. And you can bring a Post-it note in with you if you want, with the eighth diopters listed on that Post-it, so that you don't need to be nervous about remembering how to do that. Make sure you also record the meridians to 3 digits. So if your meridian is 007, you don't just write down 7, but you write out the full 3 digits when you're recording in Epic. Make sure you practice a few times with the keratometry proficiency rubric in mind, and that you also time yourself so that you're quite comfortable completing keratometry on one eye within 4 minutes. But make sure that you have done that you've completed keratometry several times within that 4 minutes, and you've looked at the rubric and you make sure that you cover all the points on that rubric. I'd like to remind everyone to make sure when you move the equipment that you're not forcing it, that you make sure that the lever or the lock has been released, and you don't need to turn it a lot, just a half turn. Make sure that that equipment moves comfortably and with ease when you are adjusting things. So when you pull the phoropter in front of the patient and when you move it back away out of the way, make sure that you are releasing that handle, that lock, to make it move smoothly. Similar with the keratometer, when you are moving it into place, if you feel like you're having to pull it a lot or tug and it's not moving freely, go ahead and look before you continue and release that lock and then slide it into place. And then you can turn the handle back, tighten it up. Again, don't crank on it, but just tighten it a little bit to make sure that it doesn't move as you're doing your readings. When you turn the patient's chair, the chairs all have levers, locks on the side or the back of them to allow you to move them easily when you rotate them, and then go ahead and turn that lever or the lock at the back down so that they stay in the place that you put them. This week in lab, when you're not doing the keratometry mini proficiency, you're going to continue to work on JCC. We're also going to have you add the second spherical refinement. After JCC, you're going to repeat a 20/40 blur and a second spherical refinement. So you'll have a complete monocular sequence. You'll start with retinoscopy, check the patient's VAs monocularly, do a 20/40 blur as a setup for your first spherical refinement, which you'll do a red-green. Once you have the red-green in place and you've left the patient at that first green option that they chose, you're going to do your JCC just as you've been doing it. And then once you have your JCC completed, you're going to blur the patient up again and do a second spherical refinement, which is your MSB VA. And then you will check monocular VAs. So you're checking VAs after retinoscopy. And now that you've completed the monocular sequence, you're going to check VAs at the end of this monocular sequence. There are only a couple of steps that remain in completing our distance refractive sequence after this, and those both involve binocular testing. So at this point with these steps, you've completed the monocular testing on your patient. For next week, there'll be 6 sequences due. Now you know the whole monocular portion of the sequence. So you'll do 2 on the manual phoropters, and then you'll complete 2 on each of the automated phoropters, one time using the standard JCC lens and the second time using the proprietary JCC lens. Good luck practicing for the keratometry proficiency. Please reach out to your TAs as needed. I'm looking forward to seeing you in lab. Thank you.